Welcome back to the channel. This is Wes. We got the big news. Finally, the Merc with the mouth is back, baby. Returning to Marvel Comics after, what was it, Kelly Thompson did the character for a year or two? I don't know. That was a terrible idea. But this might be a worse idea. Alyssa Wong on Deadpool. And here to talk to me about that is comic book writer, editor, Aaron Sparrow. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm mystified today, Wes. I don't understand the decision-making process at Marvel. I really don't.
Well, this is the decision-making at Marvel. They're like, did your last project fail? How about the one before that? Oh, they both failed. It's time to give you a promotion. That kind of feels like what's going on here. Obviously, Alyssa Wong has that Dr. Aphra series at Star Wars. It's not even close just how bad it's performing compared to the other Star Wars comics. Also, Iron Fist, last time I saw it, was not in the top 100. She's had a couple of projects here or there, like Shang-Chi, also not in the top 100. So it's been failure, failure, failure. Now it's time to give you a bigger character in Deadpool. How do you fill yourself up like this? It's
it's like, let's give you a bigger canvas, even though nobody's been interested in anything that you've done. I don't know if the thinking is, did Alyssa Wong come in with a Deadpool pitch? I don't think so. I think that an editor is like, we're going to do a new Deadpool series. Who can we hire? Alyssa Wong's not busy. Let's plug her in here. But we know from previous series where she's talked about, books that she's working on, we know that she really doesn't know the characters. She really doesn't know the Marvel Universe. I doubt that she's very familiar with Deadpool. So I don't think we're going to get a Deadpool series. Even Kelly Thompson. Kelly Thompson's a much better writer than Alyssa Wong. Kelly Thompson at least knows the X-Men property, and her Deadpool series failed. So why are we going to do another Deadpool series with a lesser writer than Kelly Thompson, who couldn't make it happen?
Yeah, it feels like they kind of went overboard, kind of, overexposed the character. Next thing you know, Kelly Thompson's writing on it. You're like, well, let's give the character a breather. Then you can come back a year later with a better writer, and maybe it'll kick off again. It's like, Alyssa Wong, like, how did we get here? And obviously, this is going to be a new ongoing series from this November, along with Martin Kokolo, who's the artist that was working on the Hulk versus Thor stuff. The announcement teases that Deadpool #1 is going to have riotous violence and relentless body horror, as we see Wade Wilson auditioning for an elite mercenary group, and he has 48 hours to kill one of the most famous supervillains in the world. But before he can, he's kidnapped by the same villain who performs twisted experiments on Deadpool's body with horrifying side effects. That could be a good Deadpool story if it wasn't Alyssa Wong, maybe?
If you had like an Al Ewing or somebody on there, I'd be more intrigued by the premise. Maybe that would hook me in and I'd give it a couple issues. But, with Alyssa Wong on the title, it's just one of those things where it's an automatic pass for me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are people that are fans of her writing, but it certainly hasn't borne out in the sales of the titles that she's worked on.
No, I remember reading, she had a short story about Batwoman that was tying into the last time Joker took away Gotham from Batman that James Tynion wrote. And it wasn't the worst thing in the history of the world, but she's not exactly an accomplished writer. And just the way that she got into Marvel Comics, I think, is really strange. Essentially, I don't know, I guess she went out there and called C.B. Cebulski, the EIC at Marvel Comics, a big racist because of the Akira Yoshida pen name stuff. And that guilted him into hiring her? I don't know.
Guilted him into hiring her, and then he only put her on Asian characters for years. Which she has absolutely failed at. And now I guess we're going to give her a bigger profile with Deadpool. I mean, at least that's anti-racist. At least he's not just forcing her onto another Asian character. But, she didn't even understand the Asian characters that she was working on. I don't know if you recall the interview that she did when they announced Shang-Chi. But, they were asking her, oh, what do you love? What is it about the character that appeals to you? And her answer was, oh, he's got serious big brother energy. Like, he'd bring you snacks. And it's like, you don't know anything about this character, do you? You just pulled that out of the air. Like, this is not going to be Shang-Chi. This is just going to be a character with Shang-Chi's skin like stretched over it. Something that you're doing that with no connection to anything that's come before. So I suspect that we'll get much the same with Deadpool.
The weird thing is, it feels like Deadpool's supposed to be an important character. The character is going to be in the MCU soon. They've made so much money on Deadpool in movies, and there have been pretty decent takes on Deadpool in the past, but he is a really hard character to get. I think the last time that Deadpool was done really well was Rick Remender during Uncanny X-Force, but that's been years and years ago since they really had a good voice on that character.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think Remender on Uncanny X-Force is the last time I enjoyed Deadpool. Prior to that, the only real Deadpool run I can really think of is Joe Kelly's run on the character. we've gone through the Jerry Duggan, Brian Posehn era. We went through the Kelly Thompson era, and now apparently we're in the Alyssa Wong era. You know, great new Deadpool ongoing. I guarantee you that ongoing is going to be like 8 to 12 issues max.
Oh yeah, this thing's going to get canceled real quick because it's not going to sell. It's going to be a waste of he's not an A-level like character, but he's a B-level character. He's a character that can sell his own title and, you know, be in some team ups and kind of help the profile of a book here and there. I don't know how we got here. If I had a comic book writer, and I know you, but unfortunately you're a good comic book writer. If I knew somebody that was incredibly untalented but wanted some work, I would say go get hired at Marvel or DC right now, because they will never fire you, even if you suck at this point.
You also, you know, the other thing is I've never seen Alyssa Wong write anything funny, and Deadpool is inherently a comedic character. So yeah, it's really interesting. I guess we'll see how it turns out. Well, I mean, someone will see. You'll probably review it. I won't.
You're not going to read it with me?
I mean, you know, you got Doc for that, right? Well, maybe when Doc has his mental breakdown and can't do the X-Men roundup with you anymore, maybe it'll have to be me.
Well, we've been doing less X-Men roundup because there just isn't a whole lot to talk about, and you know, you can only say how bad they are so many times. So we're trying to find new angles, but this doesn't help things. Let's put it that way.
It's really a shame. You know, these characters have such an amazing legacy, and I would just like to see them in the hands of editors and writers that actually care about the characters, care about the history, care about the lore, care about the customers, care about making sales for their publisher. You know, I get people who will say to me like, you know, oh yeah, you know, sometimes when you talk about comics, you sound negative, and that's because so much of comics is negative right now. So much of what's being put out is not good, and I want it to be good. I want comics to be healthy and thrive. So when you and I sit here and we complain about comics, it's because we still on some level care. The problem will be when we no longer care and we're completely indifferent to it, the way that I've become to a lot of the movie and cartoon franchises. You know, it's like I just don't care anymore, and I'm not invested at all, and you're not going to get me back.
Yeah, I just had Mark Miller on the channel, you know, not too long ago, which was awesome. Dude loves comic books, but he was talking about, he's like, we're just in a really big time down period. He goes, it's a 20-year cycle with comic book. He goes, and we're just at the really bottom point before the next big cycle. So hopefully within the next few years it gets better. But at this rate, I mean, it's gonna be hard to recover. It's gonna be hard to get better when you continuously put, you know, writers that just aren't good on these characters. Alyssa Wong shouldn't be writing any heroes at Marvel. I don't think she should be doing short stories and anthologies. She certainly shouldn't be doing any solo titles, like the Dr. Aphra being outside of the top 100, while every other, you know, Star Wars book sits in the top 75 is just, it's shocking. All the evidence is there, but is C.B. Cebulski too spineless, or is he too stupid to realize?
I don't think he cares. I think he's you know, more worried about his food blog, where he's going to have dinner. That seems to be his priority. You know, I would just like to see somebody in there. You know, Tom Brevoort tweets about how sad he is, you know, sometimes, and just like, you know, he can't even get out of bed some days. You know, he's put out tweets like that, and I'm like, you guys, obviously you don't like this. You don't enjoy this. I understand that you've spent so much of your life in this that maybe you feel like you can't get out or there's nothing else you could do, but find something that makes you happy and you know, stop making the rest of us miserable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was seeing, who is it? Chris Conroy, I think, from DC Comics. He was talking about one of his creators that he edited for. They won an Eisner and they were having a party. I guess he got to the door of the party and he looked in and he said, all I could think about was COVID. I went back to my hotel room. It's like, why are you such a pathetic fucking loser? Go in there and celebrate. You were a part of it. You know, I imagine you didn't do much because he seemed like a depressed fuck on social media all the time, but at least go in there and take some credit and get a fucking drink, man.
Make some friends, like, you know, have some conversations, you know, try to enjoy yourself. It's just like, oh, all I could think of was COVID. You know what? The flu is going to be around forever. The flu was around before. It's, you know, I don't understand the fear. Like, you remember when, you know, Greg Capullo was at San Diego Comic-Con, and there was nobody who was more terrified on Twitter of COVID than Greg, you know? So
pulling his own pants thinking about COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. If Greg Capullo can get out and, you know, socialize, so can you.
Yeah, it's just a weird batch that we got now, but hopefully things will get better. Do you think this will work out for Deadpool? He's such a cool character. A lot of people like him. Why not bring Rob Liefeld back or something? At least he would sell the goddamn thing.
You know who loves Deadpool and who could write the absolute shit out of it is Jesse Snyder. That guy's pitched me so many Deadpool stories. Yeah, it'd be cool to do this. It'd be cool to do that. It's, I talked to so many creatives, like I said before, talking to Joe about Wonder Woman, and he's got a great Wonder Woman story that would actually sell books. Like talking to Jesse, he's got a great pitch for Ghost Rider that he would do with like Marco Cicchetto, and this is something that would be amazing. I helped him out with it. I helped him with the pitch. I added in some little details for him, and it's a great pitch, and it would sell books, and it would make Marvel money. But it just seems like they're not interested in the money making business right now. They're interested in just handing content to creators who've proven that they can't engage with fans or can't get fans on board. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, there's so many weird things going on. With the stunt casting of the writers to like the race or nationality or like sexual preferences of the character, which I find really off-putting. Obviously, that's how we got Alyssa Wong into Marvel Comics. Or I don't know, it just feels like they're hiring their buddies that can't succeed into Marvel and DC now. This is supposed to be like an exclusive place to go in with the very best comic writers and artists. And sure, there are a couple of them that are good here or there, but there's way more Alyssa Wongs than there are like Donny Cates right now. And I don't know. Stevie Cebulski's got a lot of work to do.
Or the guy that replaces him does, because these are some dark days that they're subjecting us to.
If you would like some more information on Alyssa Wong and her agenda that she went into Star Wars with, she wanted to queer up the Star Wars franchise. There wasn't enough queer there. She actually talked about it in a big interview. I covered it all right here on the channel. Alyssa Wong is an absolute hack and probably shouldn't be writing at Marvel or anywhere.